Congratulations! You just turned 19 and you already made the worst decision of your life. Although you don't know it yet, you still think this is temporary, that it's just to get out of the hole, that in 6 months you'll save enough money and get out. That illusion will last exactly 2 weeks. You grew up in a neighborhood where the options are 3: construction worker, cab driver, or cartel. Your dad was a construction worker. He killed himself working for 30 years only to die at 52 from a heart attack on a scaffold. He left you $400 in inheritance and a bad back that already hurts even though you're just starting out in life. Your mom cleans houses, 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, $15 a day. You do the math and realize that working honestly, you'll never get ahead. That simple equation is what the cartel exploits better than anyone. Your cousin works for them. He's not a hitman or anything important. He's a lookout. He stands on a corner all day and signals when he sees patrol cars. He makes $300 a week, more than your mom makes in a month. He gets new sneakers every 2 weeks, a phone that costs more than your car. He tells you there's work, that they need people. It's nothing dangerous, he lies. You're just going to deliver packages. You know they're not Amazon packages, but the $200 a week sounds a whole lot better than the $125 a month you make washing cars. Your first meeting is at a taco joint. You show up nervous, hands sweating. There are 3 guys at a table in the back. One of them is the lieutenant. He doesn't look like a cartel guy. He looks like a bank manager. Pressed shirt, subtle watch, polished manners. He asks you simple questions. Do you have a car? Do you know how to drive stick? Do you know the city? Do you have a criminal record? You answer yes to everything except the last one. Perfect, he says. You're a ghost. You don't exist to the police. That makes you useful. You don't know whether to feel proud or insulted that your greatest value is your insignificance. He explains the job. You're going to be a mule. You transport merchandise from point A to point B. You don't open the packages. You don't ask what's inside. You don't deviate from the route. You follow instructions to the letter. It's simple, says the lieutenant. So simple a kid could do it. That's why a lot of people do it. And that's why a lot of people make mistakes. The threat is clear even though he says it with a smile. Your first trip is terrifying. They give you a beat-up 2005 sedan that looks like any unlicensed taxi. In the trunk, there are 2 backpacks. They weigh about 30 pounds each. You don't open them, but you know what's inside. Meth, coke, heroin, death packaged in little bags. Your route runs 8 hours through the desert with $1.5 million worth of drugs in the back. If the police pull you over, your life is over. If you get robbed, your life is over. If you crash, your life is over. You drive exactly 50 miles per hour. You don't run a single red light. You use your turn signal. You are the most careful driver in the entire state. There are 3 checkpoints on the way. At the first one, the officer doesn't even search the car. He just looks at your scared kid face and waves you through. At the second, they ask you to open the trunk. You almost shit yourself. But when you open it, there's only a spare tire and a toolbox. The backpacks have disappeared. You figure it out later. There's a hidden compartment. The car is modified. You're so new, you didn't even know you were driving a professionally rigged vehicle. At the third checkpoint, they ask for $20. You hand it over. The officer winks at you. He's on the payroll. They all are. You arrive 6 hours later. You're so tense your neck aches. They send you to an address in a middle-class neighborhood. A normal house. White fence, small garden, a tricycle in the driveway. Inside, you're greeted by a woman around 50. She could be your aunt. She offers you water. You verify the backpacks are intact. She counts the contents with the efficiency of a bank teller. She hands you an envelope. Inside, there's $200. Your first payment. The easiest money you've ever made in your life. Also, the dirtiest. But you'll figure that out later. You make the same trip 12 times over 2 months. Each time you get more confident, more careless. That's exactly what they want. They're testing you, seeing if you're reliable, if you can handle the pressure, if you have discipline. You pass the test without knowing you were being evaluated. One day, they call you to a different meeting. This time, it's at a ranch on the outskirts. You pull up in your beat-up car surrounded by Ram trucks worth $40,000 apiece. You feel like a grasshopper at a rooster dance. Inside, there are about 20 guys. You recognize some of them. The one who sells meth in your neighborhood. The one who runs the unlicensed cabs. The guy who owns 3 strip clubs downtown. They all work for the same organization. They're all here for the same reason. The boss is paying a visit. He walks in with 4 bodyguards. He's not what you expected. No gold chains, no pistol on his hip. He's wearing jeans and a button-down shirt. He could be any successful rancher. But when he speaks, everyone goes quiet. He has that authority that doesn't need to raise its voice. "I've heard the kid is good," he says, pointing at you. You nearly have a heart attack. 12 trips, 0 mistakes, 0 delays. That's rare. He congratulates you. He asks if you want more responsibility, more pay. You say yes because saying no isn't an option. Your new job is to supervise other mules. Now you have 5 guys reporting to you. You coordinate the routes, manage the deliveries, solve problems. You make $600 a week. In 2 months, you went from washing cars to earning more than an engineer. You buy your mom a new washing machine. She cries with joy. She doesn't know that machine was paid for by transporting the tears of 1,000 destroyed families. You learn the unwritten rules. Never ask for real names. Never talk about work on the phone. Never show off on social media. Never mess with another man's woman. Never steal. Never lie. The last one is the most important. You can kill someone, and maybe they'll forgive you. But if you steal or lie, there's no forgiveness. The cartel runs on trust. Betraying that trust is signing your death warrant. You witness your first execution 3 months in. A lookout fell asleep at his post. He let an operation slip through. 4 hitmen got caught and 400 pounds of drugs were seized. They grab him a week later. They bring him to the same ranch where you met the boss. You think they're going to beat him, that they're going to fire him. You're wrong. They execute him right there. 2 shots. Quick and efficient. Then everyone goes back to eating barbecue like nothing happened. You vomit behind one of the trucks. Nobody says anything to you. Everyone went through the same thing at some point. It's part of the initiation. That night, you can't sleep. You keep seeing the lookout's face. He was 23 years old. He had a pregnant girlfriend. 1 mistake, 1 bullet. You understand that there's no retirement in this job, no resignation. The only way out is in a box or a cell. But you're already inside. You already know faces. You already know routes. You're already responsible for others. Leaving now would be treason. And you've already seen what happens to traitors. Your life changes completely. You stop hanging out with your old friends. They ask questions you can't answer. You pull away. Now your friends are others from the cartel. Kids like you who got in out of necessity and stayed out of fear. They talk about cars, girls, parties. They never talk about work. They never talk about the dead. They never talk about the future because everyone knows there probably isn't one. You meet your first narco girlfriend. She's 20 and looks like an Instagram model. 60,000 followers. Photos in Dubai, in Miami, in Cancun. Her dad runs a plaza. He controls all distribution in 3 states. She lives in a bubble of luxury paid for with blood. She doesn't study. She doesn't work. She just exists. She's beautiful and empty. You last 3 months until you realize she has 2 other boyfriends. Both hitmen. Both more important than you. You leave her. She doesn't even notice. You get promoted again. Now you're in charge of a corner spot. That's what they call it. A corner spot. In reality, it's a meth and coke retail point in a low-income neighborhood. You have 10 dealers working for you, open 24/7. You make $1,500 a week. Your job is to collect the money, count the product, report the sales, solve problems. The problems are usually addicts who don't pay or dealers who steal. You solve problems the way you were taught, fast and without mercy. A dealer steals $750 from you. He's 19 years old. He says he needed the money for his mom's chemotherapy. Maybe it's true, Maybe it's a lie. It doesn't matter. If you forgive him, everyone's going to steal. You have to make an example. You bring him to the lieutenant. He decides. They cut 3 fingers off his right hand. They do it right there on the kitchen table of the safe house. With a machete, no anesthesia. The screams haunt you for weeks. But he didn't steal again. Nobody stole again. Your corner spot is successful. You move 60 pounds of meth a month. That's $150,000 in sales. You take 10%. You're making more than a doctor, more than a lawyer, more than most people who studied and sacrificed. The injustice of the system was never so clear. Crime pays better than honest work. It always has. It always will. But success has a price. Now you're a target. The city police have a file on you. The state cops know who you are. The feds have your photo. A patrol car pulls you over every week. It's always the same. They search you. They threaten you. Then they ask for their cut. You hand over $250. They let you go. It's the cost of doing business. The cartel has arrangements with every level of government. As long as you pay, they let you work. It's a perfectly corrupt system where everyone wins. Except the addicts who destroy their lives with your product. But they don't count. You start carrying a gun. A 9mm they gave you as part of your equipment. You've never used it. You hope you never have to. But you carry it everywhere. In your waistband, under your shirt. It makes you feel safe and vulnerable at the same time. Safe because you're armed. Vulnerable because you know that if you pull it out, you'll probably die. The professional hitmen are faster, better trained. Your gun is more of a symbol than a useful tool. Your first shootout happens by accident. You're at a convenience store buying cigarettes when a rival crew rolls in. 4 trucks, 12 gunmen. They're coming for the store owner who turned out to be a lookout for your cartel. The bullets start flying. You hit the floor. You crawl toward the back. You slip out the rear door while they're massacring the poor bastard inside. You run 6 blocks without stopping. You reach your car. You drive home. You lock yourself in your room. You shake for 2 hours. That night, you find out the owner died. A woman buying milk also died. An 8-year-old boy who was just passing by also died. Collateral damage, that's what they call it. As if giving something a nice name makes the death of a child any less horrible. You report the incident. They tell you not to worry, that those were Gulf Cartel guys, that there will be a response. 2 days later, there's a banner hung from a bridge with 5 bodies dangling from it. The message is clear. This is what happens to those who stick their nose where it doesn't belong. One of those bodies is 17 years old. He was probably a lookout. He probably wasn't even at the shootout. But they needed numbers. They needed to send a message. That's how this works. 1 death is paid back with 5. 5 are paid back with 20. It's a spiral that never ends. You become paranoid. You switch cars every 3 months. You never sleep in the same place 2 nights in a row. You have 3 phones. You check your car for explosives before you start it. You trust no one, not even your family. Especially not your family. You know about guys who got betrayed by their own cousins. For money, for revenge, for fear. Trust is a luxury you can't afford. Your mom starts asking questions. Where are you getting all this money? Why do you switch cars every month? Why do those men talk to you with so much respect? You tell her you have a used car business, that things are going great. She wants to believe it. She needs to believe it. So she swallows the lie. But deep down, she knows. All moms know. They just prefer the comfortable lie to the horrible truth. You hit 1 year in the organization. They throw you a party, a narco blowout at a ranch with a live band, horses, women, and Coke for everyone. The boss gives you a Rolex. It's fake, but it looks nice. He tells you you're doing good work. That he trusts you, that there's a future for you in the organization. You smile, you say thanks. Inside, you're dead. Because you understand that a future in the organization means you're never getting out. That this is your life now. That there's no going back. You see how the business really works. It's nothing like the movies. There's no honor. There's no loyalty. There's only money and fear. The boss is not a Robin Hood. He doesn't help the poor. He exploits them. He sells them drugs. He recruits them. He uses them. He discards them. He's a businessman who happens to be in the business of destroying lives, and you are part of his supply chain. You start using. First, it's just alcohol, a few beers to fall asleep. Then it's whiskey. Then it's Coke. Just on weekends, you tell yourself. Just to get through the parties. But the weekends turn into Wednesdays. Turn into Tuesdays. Soon you're doing a line every day, not because you enjoy it, but because it's the only way to stop thinking, to stop feeling, to stop remembering the faces of everyone you've watched die. Your best friend in the cartel, a kid who got in the same time as you, decides to quit. He tells you one night, drunk, crying, he says he can't do it anymore, that he has nightmares, that he wants to be normal again. You tell him it's a bad idea, that he should talk to the lieutenant first, that he should ask permission. He doesn't listen. He disappears one night. They find him a week later in a dumpster, tortured, dismembered, with a message. This is how traitors end up. You cry in private. In public, you say nothing. You don't even go to the funeral, because going would be admitting you knew him, and knowing a traitor makes you a suspect. You get promoted again. Now you're a plaza coordinator. You oversee 10 corner spots, 50 dealers, 30 lookouts. You move 400 pounds a month. You report directly to the lieutenant. You make $4,000 a week. You're 22 years old and pulling in over $15,000 a month. You also have 4 hitmen assigned to protect you. You also have 3 outstanding arrest warrants. You're also on the rival cartel's priority target list. Success in this business is measured by how many people want you dead. You buy a house, 3 bedrooms in a gated community. You pay cash, $100,000 in bundles of bills. The seller doesn't ask questions. Nobody asks questions when you bring cash. You furnish it with the best. 75-inch screen, PlayStation 5, full kitchen. But you're almost never there. You sleep in safe houses, in hotels, in your car. The nice house is just for the photo. To show your mom that you made it. You meet the patron, the real boss. Not your plaza boss, the boss of bosses. They take you blindfolded to a ranch in the mountains. When they take the blindfold off, you're in a living room that looks like a magazine spread. Art, on the walls, Persian rugs, Italian furniture. In the middle sits a man. He's 50, silver hair, Gucci shirt. He looks like a CEO. He talks like a politician. He studies you with shark eyes. They tell me you're smart, he says, that you don't use too much, that you don't show off, that you think. You nod. Good. Idiots are everywhere. Smart people are rare. Don't waste it doing stupid shit. It's advice and threat at the same time. He explains the vision. The cartel is evolving. It's not just drugs anymore. Now it's illegal mining, timber trafficking, fuel theft, extortion, human trafficking, kidnapping. It's a diversified criminal empire. Like any business, he says, you have to adapt to the market. The coldness with which he discusses sex slavery as a business line turns your stomach. But you smile. You nod. You say you understand. Because understanding means surviving. Your job gets more complicated. Now you have to coordinate with other sectors of the cartel. The fuel theft. Guys want to use your routes. The human smugglers need your corner spots as transfer points. The kidnappers need your lookouts to surveil targets. You become a criminal project manager. You run meetings, mental PowerPoints, you coordinate logistics. It's like working at Walmart, except if you make a mistake, they kill you instead of firing you. You lose your first shipment. 20 kilos of meth. Value, $100,000. Your mule got intercepted by state troopers who weren't on the payroll. Troopers from another state. Bad luck. You have to report it. Your palms sweat. The lieutenant listens to the story. Then he asks, did your mule steal it or was it legit? You say it was legit. You have proof, traffic camera footage, reports from other lookouts. Okay, he says, I'll take your word for it this time, but it comes out of your cut. They deduct $100,000 from your earnings. It takes you 4 months to recover. You learn the lesson. In this business, you're responsible for everything. No insurance. No forgiveness. Only consequences. You start to notice a pattern. The ones who last are the gray ones. The ones who don't stand out too much. The ones who do their job efficiently without drawing attention. The ones who show off too much end up dead or in prison. The ones who steal end up dismembered. The ones who are too successful end up betrayed. Calculated mediocrity is the only sustainable strategy. So you go gray, you do your job, no more, no less. Invisible as much as possible. You watch a lot of people die. Some of them deserved it, if anyone deserves that. Hitmen who tortured, dealers who raped, bosses who betrayed. But you watch a lot of innocent people die too. Teenage lookouts, family members who knew too much, journalists who asked too many questions, honest cops who wouldn't take bribes. Every death hardens you a little more. Every body you see dehumanizes you a little more. Until one day, you realize you can look at a corpse and only think about logistics, about how to get rid of the body, about whether it'll affect business. You no longer think about the fact that it was a person, that they had a family, dreams, hopes. It's just a problem to solve. You hit 2 years, you're still alive. That's an achievement in itself. Most of the guys who got in when you did are dead or in prison. One of them managed to get out. He went to the United States, applied for asylum, got approved due to credible threats. You envy him, but you also know you can't do the same because you're no longer a victim. You're a perpetrator. You've done things that can't be forgiven. You've given orders that resulted in deaths. You have blood on your hands that no American judge is going to ignore. Your life is a paradox. You have more money than you ever dreamed of, but you can't spend it openly. You have power, but you can't use it for anything good. You have respect, but it's respect based on fear. You have everything and you have nothing. You're king of a shit kingdom. You're successful in a business that destroys everything it touches. One night, drunk, you drive through your old neighborhood. You see kids who are 15, 16 years old doing exactly what you used to do. Standing on corners, with hungry eyes, with no future. You know that one of them is going to get recruited. He's going to get into the cartel. He's going to walk the same road you did. He's going to end up dead, locked up, or turned into a monster. You want to get out of the car, to warn them, to tell them not to do it, that it's not worth it. That easy money is the most expensive trap there is. But you don't. Because if you did, you'd be admitting that your life is a mistake. And you can't admit that. Not yet. Maybe never. This is what you are. A 22-year-old kid who has already lived 3 lifetimes, who has scars that don't show, who knows secrets he can't tell, who has money he can't enjoy, who lives every day knowing it could be his last. You're the new guy in the cartel who isn't new anymore, who already has stains that don't wash out, who has already crossed lines that can't be uncrossed. And the worst part isn't what you've done. The worst part is that you've gotten used to it. The worst part is that violence no longer surprises you. Death no longer scares you. The suffering of others no longer moves you. You've optimized yourself to survive. And to survive in this world, you had to kill everything you used to be. You are the new guy. And you'll be the new guy until another desperate kid comes along to take your place. Until the machine spits you out and processes the next one. Because the cartel doesn't need people. It needs functions. And you are just another replaceable piece in a machine that grinds up souls and produces bills stained with blood. Welcome. There's no way out anymore.